Information for Living in the U.S., developed by a coalition of community partners and advocates. ID, passport, and parole information. If you were granted parole, you have been permitted to come into the United States temporarily. That does not mean that you have been given work authorization or a work permit or have permission to remain long term. You need to see an immigration legal services provider who can help you with your case. The following website lists nonprofit immigration legal services providers throughout the United States: www.immigrationadvocates.org/legal directory/. Notaries and attorneys. In the U.S., notaries provide services relating to certifying documents, but they cannot provide legal advice. While you may need a notary's services when completing an immigration paperwork, advice about the process and your status should come from an immigration attorney or lawyer. Beware of people who pretend to be immigration attorneys, such as notarios or immigration consultants. In the United States, a notario is not qualified to give legal advice or to represent you in immigration matters. Notarios and immigration consultants may charge very high fees and make false promises of green cards and or work permits that you never receive. The documents you are given at the border are very important. Please read them carefully and keep them in the same place. Take photos of your ID, passport, and any documents you received at the border and save them. Take note of your A number, a 9 or 10-digit number starting with the letter A, found on your immigration documents, and keep it in a place where you can easily find it. You can use your smartphone to create a free Gmail account at www.gmail.com and keep all your information on Google Drive, a free file storage system that you get by signing up for a Gmail account or a safe space. If you lose any of these documents, it makes it harder for an immigration attorney to find your case and help you. ICE check-in. If you received parole, you may be required to present yourself periodically at a designated ICE office. More information about your first appointment is found in the documents that you were given at the border. If you are living in a different city than the one listed on your paperwork, you must file a change of address. To do this and for more information, please visit https://www.ice.gov/check-in. An address format example would be your name, 123 street name with the apartment number, city name, comma, state abbreviation with 2 letters, and the 5-digit zip code. Immigration court. You can go to automated case information at acis.eoir.justice.gov or call 1-800-898-7180 to find out whether you have an appointment in the immigration court. You will need to enter your A number. If no case is found for your A number, this means that you do not yet have an appointment. You should check back every week. Please note that changing your address with ICE does not change your address in the immigration court. If you have moved, you will need to change your address with the immigration court at respondentAccess.eoir.justice.gov/en/forms/EOIR33IC. Employment, work permit, working without status, abuse, and labor rights. The United States does not allow employers to fully hire someone who is not legally allowed to work in the country. However, a lot of people work without permission to survive in the U.S. In the U.S., all workers, regardless of immigration status, have rights. All workers have a right to earn a minimum wage, which varies by state. People find jobs in different industries such as food and services, construction and landscaping, caregiving, etc. Working without permission may put you at risk of being exploited, being paid less, no paid extra hours, no vacations, no benefits, and or unsafe working conditions. You have the right to inquire or report the incident without fear of retaliation. To discuss a wage issue, call 1-866-487-9243. To discuss or report an unsafe workplace, call 1-800-321-6742. Important. If you believe you or another person you know has been forced to work in any way, has had their wages withheld, and or had their movements restricted, that person may be a victim of human trafficking. For more information, please call the 24/7 confidential hotline at 1-888-373-7888. Cost of living in the U.S. Cost of food. Food in the United States is more expensive than in many other countries. A cup of coffee can cost between $2.50 and $5. A sandwich and a soda can cost between $10 and $15. To save money on food, buy it from a grocery store and prepare meals yourself. Cost of lodging. In the U.S., the cheapest hotels cost between $50 and $60 per night. Most hotels will cost between $100 and $150 per night and require an ID and a credit card. Renting a room. In most big cities in the U.S., such as New York City, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Boston, Chicago, and Washington, D.C., the average cost of renting a single room in a shared home or apartment is $800 to $1,000. If you are lucky, you can find places just outside of these cities where you may be able to rent a room for $400 to $600. To rent in most places, you will be asked to pay a security deposit, usually equal to 1 month's rent. Overall cost of living. Cost of living, housing availability, and job markets vary in different parts of the U.S. For reference, the bare minimum cost of household basics for a single adult is $3,968 per month in the Washington, D.C. area, $4,137 per month in New York City, $2,703 in Newark, New Jersey, and $2,427 in Chicago. This cost is higher for couples and families. Note: migrants are not generally eligible for public benefits such as food or housing assistance. The exception to this is public education for children. Transportation. If you have a smartphone, download Google Maps. Google Maps can help you find the best routes to where you want to go. It can tell you which buses to take, where to walk, and how long it will take. Buses and trains. In most big cities in the U.S., you will have access to reliable public transportation. The cost varies in different cities, but on average, you can expect to pay $2 to $2.75 per ride. You can often pay in cash to use the bus, but they may not give you change back. The best thing to do is to get a transit card. They have different names in different cities, and use it for buses and trains. Usually, you can get them at any transit station. In smaller cities or rural areas, public transportation is more limited and less reliable. Taxis and rideshare. As in many other countries, you can use taxis or rideshares to get around, but they are much more expensive than public transit. An average rideshare costs $12 to $18 for short rides. The fare goes up during rush hour, holidays, and some weather conditions. Taxis are generally more expensive. Long-distance trains and buses. If you are going from one city or state to another, for example, from Washington, D.C. to New York City, you will need to purchase a different kind of train or bus ticket. For more information, visit www.amtrak.com or www.greyhound.com. The fares for these services can vary a lot depending on time and location, costing as little as $18 up to $200 or more. Communications, mobile phones, and Wi-Fi. If you have phone service from another country, you can still communicate using messaging apps such as WhatsApp if you connect to Wi-Fi. Finding free Wi-Fi is not easy. You may find Wi-Fi connections at a train or bus stations, not stops. Public libraries generally have Wi-Fi available. Fast food chains and cafes are easy to find and they usually have Wi-Fi, but you may need to purchase something to use it. Most restaurants do not provide Wi-Fi to their customers. SIM cards. You can buy prepaid SIM cards at many convenience stores, pharmacies, and big box stores. Employees at these stores may not be familiar with how to activate a SIM card, so you'll have to do it on your own. A safer bet is to go directly to a mobile provider. For example, at a T-Mobile store, you can buy a prepaid SIM card for $40 with unlimited talk and text and 10 gigabytes of data per month. Mint Mobile is another inexpensive option. Keep in mind that you will need a valid ID to purchase a SIM card or phone. Access to public education for minors. U.S. law requires all children 16 and under to be enrolled at and attend school. There are legal consequences for parents whose children do not attend school. Law enforcement and emergency services. 911. To request support in the case of a health or safety emergency in the United States, dial 911. 911 connects to the nearest police, fire, and emergency medical services, or EMS. For urgent medical care, please dial 911 or visit the nearest hospital. If you are in danger, have been the victim of a crime, or have witnessed one, please call the police by dialing 911. It is illegal for the police to refuse assistance to an undocumented person. If you are asked about your status, you should not share any information with police about what country you come from or when you entered. Should you have a valid immigration status document, such as a work permit, you may show them, but be aware that being in possession of false documents or any kind, or lying to a police officer are serious crimes that may lead to your immediate arrest. Important: if you are ever approached by the police, do not run. Know that you have the right to remain silent and ask for someone who speaks your native language. If you are ever detained, do not lie to the police and do not try to pay the police to let you go. Those are serious crimes. Additional support: domestic and sexual violence. If you ever experience physical, verbal, or sexual violence in your relationship, know that you can seek support. You can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 800-799-7233 or find a local agency. In case of emergency, call 911. Homelessness. In many cities in the U.S., there are a significant number of people who are homeless. Different life circumstances have forced them to live on the streets. While most of them are harmless, some may struggle with mental health problems or drug addictions, which can lead them to act violently at times. The services available for people experiencing homelessness are limited. In the case of a crisis, you can call 211 to find a homeless shelter in your area. Norms and customs. In general, smoking is not well perceived in the U.S. and is prohibited in most public indoor spaces. In some regions, there are smoking fines that range from $100 to $1,000. Drinking. Drinking alcohol in public in the U.S. is illegal. Additionally, it's important to know that the legal drinking age in the U.S. is 21 years old, not 18. Valid ID to prove that you are 21 or older is required in order to purchase alcohol. Drinking and driving is illegal and brings serious punishments in the U.S. In many areas, there is a fine for drinking in public, which may include fines or jail time. Driving. A valid driver's license is required to drive a vehicle in the U.S. The vehicle must also have valid license plates on it. As noted above, operating a vehicle after drinking alcohol or consuming drugs is illegal and can be taken very seriously by law enforcement. Catcalling. In the U.S., catcalling can be considered sexual harassment. You can get into serious trouble for shouting, whistling, or making inappropriate gestures at people on the street. Trash disposal. In the U.S., you can get fined for dumping trash on the street. Fines vary in different states. Use the trash disposals available in public spaces. Urinating in public. In the US, urinating in public is considered a crime. Depending on the situation, it can lead to a sex offense, which is a more serious crime. Disposing toilet paper. In the US, used toilet paper goes directly in the toilet, not in the trash can. The trash can in restrooms are there to dispose of sanitary products, paper towels, tissues, etc. Care of children. In the US, children are not left alone without the supervision of a family member or caretaker at home or outside.